Okay, great. I'd like to call to order the Town of Ulysses Board of Zoning Appeals. Meeting for December 20th, 2023. Members in attendance are David Tyler, Cheryl Thompson, Andy Hillman, Tom Butler, and me, Steve Moriarty. Also in attendance are Town Planner, Neil Stigason, and our reporter, Mountain Duo, who will be documenting the proceedings tonight. Our Town Board liaison, Rich Boltman, is also here. Rich, thank you. Okay, thanks to all. First order of business is to appoint Tom Butler as a voting member tonight for tonight's proceedings. Do we have a motion? Motion. Okay, we have a motion. Second? Second. All right, I want to call the vote. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you, Tom. The motion carries. Thanks, Doug. Before we continue, I guess I want to know, does anybody have any modifications or anything amendments to tonight's agenda? You want to put in that? We can do it later with addition. Yes.
There's an item on the agenda voting on whether or not I should be reappointed. I have, however, resigned as of the end of the year in consultation with the liaison to the town board. So I am no longer to be voted on.
So we can't vote on it? Can we
Like
vote on it anyway?
like Sherman, if nominated, I will not serve, et cetera, et cetera.
That's too bad. Thank you. Thanks.
You have your presence here tonight.
Yes, we have my presence
Yeah,
here
you're
for a
saying
vote
at the
tonight.
end, the end of his term in December.
But I think, and I would just like to say this, I think everybody who serves, be it on a town board, in a job, or whatever it is, you have to look at the job you're doing and decide if you're still doing it as well as it should be done. And as a teacher, I decided there was a time I needed to stop. As a lacrosse referee, there was a time I needed to stop. There's a time now that I think I've done my bit, and I have very much enjoyed it. But this has been enough, so thank you very much for all working with me.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
After we have a vote on the item I can be here to vote on, I think I may abandon the meeting since everything else is about the future.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm not sure I agree that with you, but I certainly support you.
I think we all need to look at ourselves and say, is it still right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. So I support your decision. I just, I guess, thankful. Thanks a lot. And sorry to see you go. Thanks, Don. Anybody have anything that you want to discuss?
Did we change the Burris?
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna put up. I'd like to take the Burris thing was just a discussion with us, but I don't really want to do that more than a couple of seconds, I think. So I want to do the Bennett, deal with the Bennett issue first, and that's the law. Case.
Okay.
And then I want to make at best quick work of the Burris discussion. And is that okay with everybody? All right, and I just want to switch those around, and then we'll go to these other extra things. So, okay, good. That sounds good. We did not have minutes to go over. Is that true?
You did, September, and
Yeah.
still February is outstanding. I believe Bob was going to distribute his.
Can you do me a favor and remind us again, where we stand? I'm always, did we do that or not?
Yeah.
People are here somewhere. So, right. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, so the first order, is not the minutes because we don't have any.
September 6th.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Did we have minutes during that?
For September, yes,
September 6th? Okay, well, we'll add that to the file.
for January.
I have here
Yeah.
the 16th minutes. Did we approve those?
I don't think there's a couple, but there's a couple we did and I'm not caught up, so just sorry.
Yeah, the only outstanding ones are February and September.
Okay. Yeah, in September, okay. I'll remind everybody before we do it. Next one, if you'll remind me, that'd be great. And then we'll have this meeting through the. Thank you. Thanks, Molly. Great job as always. I'm sure you did a great job and we're gonna find out soon. All right, the first item of old business, continuation of our public hearing for an appeal by the applicant. Well, Sean Ritchie, are you presenting tonight? Or?
Yes, I can.
On behalf of the owner, Chris Galkey, and he's proposed to construct a new 100-foot tram system from the upper portion of the subject lot down the steep slope to the lower portion of the lot near the shoreline. Property is located at 5 Maplewood Road. 2 variances are requested from the Board of Zoning Appeals as part of an overall site plan review with the planning board. Reduction of the 40-foot minimum required front yard setback under the code of Town of Ulysses CPU 212-47.e and CTU 212-167.a. And reduction of the 75-foot minimum required buffer setback from a lake under CTU 212-124.b. The board previously discussed the proposal during its meeting on July 19th, again on August 16th, 2023, and on September 6th, 2023. Nice to see you all back again. Glad you stuck with it. We requested the last time just additional information from the applicant, and the requested additional materials were submitted for review, and that's what we're going to discuss tonight. So, as the appellant, who's going to present tonight?
I can speak, sure.
Okay, you want to come up and
Sure.
just give us, but basically not the whole story we had, we will, we know each other well.
Yes, right. Welcome, everyone.
Just the new information and, what you presented to us.
Yeah, so not a lot of new information, but just clarified some of the positions, some of the dimensions and
Yep.
location of the tram on the property. So
Excellent. Which is
Yeah, a couple-
requested.
yeah, a couple of drawings. There was a couple concerns around the amount of trees that were required to be removed. It's very minimal. There's 2 large trees that we want to be clear that we are not removing those.
Yep.
But we wanted to be clarified where those are relative to the tram. So we went and added those dimensions to the drawing. Our tram is typically, the tracks are 4 feet wide. We generally shoot for about 7 feet. For our pilings, that kind of thing, we've got a little bit of wiggle room. So we made sure that we've got that plenty of clearance between those 2 trees, and they're sufficiently off the property line to run the tram down the property line. The setback, side setback is 12 feet, so we're, the tram is 12 feet off. So kind of added that to the drawing to make sure it was clear where that tram is going. So like you mentioned earlier, it's going from the backyard, if you will, on this property, approximately 100 feet down to the road. The other question came up, I believe in August meeting or September, was the amount of pilings that we use to attach the tram to 2-inch. But I showed a few times in the past. The 2-inch aluminum pipe Schedule 40. We pound those to refuse them to the ground at about 2 a pair every 12 feet down the track. The total number of pilings approximately on this property is around 28 or so. There was a question of a tram we just did earlier in the year. And in the chart, it was around 22 pilings. So it's pretty consistent based on the length of the similarity of the length of these 2 trams. In total, it's probably disrupts less than 2 square feet of soil if you add up these. It adds to the diameter. So it's not a lot of disruption, but it's enough to support the tram. The tram itself obviously occupies a larger footprint than that, as far as the pilings go. So we've always touted that is the most effective way to construct and support the tram system, the least disruptive to the health, without needing to dig footings, concrete, solids, that kind of
That's
stuff.
my question. So there's no concrete footings.
No, not. The Finger Lakes are just, the soil and the shale is just a very good marriage between this type of fence post driving or pile driving. There's not a huge load on the system, because you're stripping that across the 30 feet. That's we have enough pilings to give us not only support of the hill, but also lateral side to side movement to give us secure ride.
So you have the total length listed here.
We do. It's total length.
7.5 feet wide and then. Like,
Just under 100 feet, so 100 feet from the back of the place, driving down to the base of the hill.
Great, anything else you want to present his response?
I think that's it, but certainly any questions that you might have.
Yeah, we do, but first I wanna, ask a couple questions. Was the public notice given to this? That's-
Yep.
Any further responses than the ones we've had?
Nope.
Okay, great. Now we want to open up, I want to first open it to the public. Is there anybody in the public out there? Linda, I see you. Okay, great. So I want to open the public portion of the hearing in order to hear comments from the public on this specific variance request. So these comments will be taken into consideration when we consider the action on the variance request. If you'd like to make a comment, don't forget to state your name, please, and then let's try and keep it brief and certainly relevant comments relevant to the variance request in front of us. We have a couple people in the audience that open it up for you to make comments on this variance request. Okay, unless anybody in the public has something to add to this, I'm gonna close the public portion of the meeting. And so the public portion of the hearing is not concluded. All right, I want to bring to the board now, and that was a good question, but now we can open up for further questions. Anybody have some further questions?
Yeah.
Andy?
So we had discussed, the very large, chestnut oak that's to the northwest side of, to the left as you're looking towards the lake. And, the plan still seems to be to bridge as much of the root system as possible as you
Yes.
go, as the tram
Yeah,
pilings are going in.
yeah, no, it's a great question. Our tracks are 25 feet long, the I-beams, and theoretically, you really need, you support them on the ends, on the 25 feet. We also support them in the middle, so every 12 feet, just to give us that little extra. But we do have the latitude to move those pilings to do exactly what you're saying. So we'll kind of stretch and straddle that root system as best we can. Now, we don't know exactly, obviously, where the roots are, but we typically are able to, if we, we can sometimes tell when we hit a root, type of thing, so we can reload, move it, and so it's not, we're not confined. We're tree huggers by nature, we want to keep that tree, makes the land stable and shade and all that kind of stuff. So,
Where are the roots?
Where are the roots?
Well, you looked at the tree, you were out
Yeah,
there. To the-
Yeah.
Well, it's, it's like you said, it's very hard to tell where
Yep.
they go, but the buttress roots are easily visible.
You can see on the top, that's true, and so you kind of can, unless they're making a really bad extrapolation, we can kind of guess there, but we can still, sometimes we guess wrong, you can still tell, I mean, you can almost tell, because you can almost tell when your driver is able to hit something hard, whether it's rock or root or whatever. So,
Thank you.
yeah, sure.
So how far, where would you like, so I like that you have flexibility, and I don't know, I know you have to do it structurally sound, but I think that if you could, what's the best way, I'm not gonna ask you as an expert, what's the best way to position that 25 foot span for 25, we go that far?
I don't think they can,
No, we wouldn't go 25 feet, but
but I think you can have 6 feet on either side of
Yeah.
the trunk if that's where it appears the buttress roots.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly.
What's the span that what's the 6 feet, so 12? or
we've
something?
gone as much as 15 feet to answer your question, but typically we shoot for a 12-foot span. So that plus, plus minus 6, plus minus 7, we can straddle. And those trees, the way the hill is, generally, the roots are kind of the trunk of the tree, and they're not going uphill, but they generally don't tend to flow as much downhill as, it's hard to gauge,
The roots, those roots hold in tension more than compression,
Right.
so the uphill roots are more critical.
Right, so we're kind of focused on that a little bit, it's not gonna ignore it underneath, so if we're gonna bias it a little bit, it might not be symmetrical exactly downhill 6, uphill 6, it might be down to 3, uphill 9, kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we see a major kind of root, we'll almost use that as the straddle versus the trunk, so.
Sure. On both, then you were down there, I guess, in August.
Right.
And so, I'm just wondering if you observed anything in the, we should know.
Yeah, we covered all of that in the last meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
I think nothing new, right?
Nothing new, haven't been back.
No. No, that was it. I think the things we covered in the last meeting were, mostly pertinent to that, placement and filing, Tony's filing. Cheryl, Lee,
I haven't, looked back through all of the past pages of all the past submissions, but I am not seeing a picture of what happened at the bottom on this most recent drawing, which I was kind of hoping for, but is that included in the 100 feet? Is that little deck included in the 3.5 feet back from
It
the
is,
water?
yes, yeah, that's all would be behind me, me high water, and, included, it's actually probably like 97 feet. 100 feet, it's, not, be a little conservative on that.
And that's just a flat deck, no, we'll probably have to have railing.
Correct, it's usually like a little 4x4 platform, or, it depends, sometimes, homeowner might elect just the cabin is right down, and you can step off the cabin, like a 15-inch step, depending on the land and the soil, but at most, the 4x4 platform. The only thing that would be on that platform is our station door, which is part of the control system that are all the cabin. That's pretty common in all of them.
so that's variable in the area then, the size of that platform.
Typically, I mean,
No, we say 4 feet, but
it's 4x4, or if there was there might be a tree that goes 4x3. The door itself is the 35-inch opening, so you want to be comfortable when the door opens. You have enough platform to step out.
yeah, right.
Wheelchair or some ramp or something.
And it's in the direction of travel or it's to the side?
It'd be to the side. Yeah, so you always get on and off of the cabin side. Of the cabin. The doors on the side.
So at the very bottom,
You get out.
it'll be in addition to the 7.6 would be a little.
You're getting off to the south. It would actually be in the 7.6.
Oh.
Yeah. Because the track is 4 feet wide. That accounts for the stations, which are.
Great.
And then remind us, we've discussed this in the past, I think, I want to be consistent with what we've done in the past, and I want to say it once again, but I don't think, I like the idea of this at all, and then have a set of stairs go up later. Like a separate set of stairs.
Sure.
Walk up and down, all that, that's different than this, distinct from this way to go, get up and down the slope. We covered that before, right?
Yeah.
And you said,
Which is what held us up this last few months. So that's the 7.6 provides room for the emergency access stairs.
yeah,
Which would sit on the same frame.
you said you wanted to think about that and you weren't sure whether to do that at this point, but are you just leaving room
Well,
for this?
right at the moment, yes, we're just leaving
Yeah.
room for it. They can just be attached later, or we may still discuss having them added now, but we know that there won't be a separate set of stairs going in anywhere else.
Okay,
Yes.
right, so, Niels, are we, can anybody put in stairs? By
With,
right, without asking for variance or anything?
as long as it's not in a setback or.
Yeah.
Yep, and as long as it's not on a steep slope, then it wouldn't need to be, planning board approval. But I think everything here is either in a unique natural area or steep slope, which automatically requires planning board site plan review.
But not us.
Not unless it's in a setback or something like that.
So can we go ahead and preclude the stairs and what we're doing here tonight? We okay with this?
Any additional chairs or stairs?
I don't mean the one that could be, it's probably gonna be attached to the tram, but in addition.
You
I just
could.
don't feel comfortable saying, yeah, sure, no problem, the tram sounds good, it's a lower footprint, and then 2 years later, we get a regular staircase in there because no one can stop you, so.
I think that it's condition, can't you?
Well, that's what I'm asking,
You can do that as a condition.
and you're okay with that, right? You guys, yeah, this one is. I just wanted to get that out there, because I think I want to make it a condition if I'm gonna, think of this favorably. Anybody want to add anything? Cheryl, did you had some questions about distance and all? They were answered, right?
Yeah.
3.5 feet to the, high water.
Yeah, it's not very clear on the drawing. It says like, it does say 3 6 over there, but I don't know like
It does. I had to get out my little
arrows
glass,
or anything.
my little wooden glass.
Right.
There. Oh, yeah,
I
there
don't know what
it is.
happened there, but.
Yeah.
I like it.
3.5 there, and it's what is it, 12 feet exactly to the sideline?
Well, right, you know, we have, there's a clear post there, and so we'll clearly delineate where 12, the 12-foot mark
Yeah.
is, and we'll be obviously south there. So we know that it's gonna be at least 12 feet, and we're not gonna get us down at 12 feet. The exact,
12 feet away.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be 12 feet, and then we'll be farther than that. You know,
Okay.
So,
And then 12 feet is fine in terms of not needing variance because
100% of 15.
20% of 15. Thank
Yes.
you very much. 15-foot setback and you get 20% allowed. Yes. Tom, anything to add? Any questions? For the applicant? Andy? Okay, well, thanks for providing the materials. I think this is exactly what we asked for, and I wasn't sure about the stairs, but I see what you're doing. You're just, and you're not going to exceed that area that you're being upwards. Right. So I guess, is there a motion?
No, is that right?
The what? There's no stairs in there right now. There are no stairs.
right, no, that was the other site, we had to remove a set of stairs.
That was the previous
Just
one.
like house site, but this one.
They've been using the driveway next door, the access next door. I just trying to make sure we don't get stairs in the future too. Right. You good, David? Okay, anybody want to take this on? Is there a motion? For the variance?
How does, Swan sign?
Or wordsmith?
I don't,
Okay, sure, yes,
what I do got is a nasty call.
okay,
Sounds good.
yeah,
Wow, over here.
I'll move it. And do us, start right up here with the whereases.
Let me see. All that, no, it was at the very top. I'd like to start right there, please.
So we saw.
Yeah, we're gonna, just about Molly. where we-
Yeah, so Molly, I'm dropping down past, I'm at the document Board of Zoning Appeals Resolution number 2023-009. And I'm dropping down past the whereases to now therefore be resolved as follows. Everything else below there is the same. Considering now therefore be it resolved as follows, considering all the statutory factors set forth above, the Board of Zoning Appeals finds the following. Number one, the benefit to the applicant in the granting of the area variance to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 foot 6 inches will outweigh the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. And I'd entertain any particular language that we want to add there to document that consideration.
I couldn't think of anything
Okay, because you're up there, 3 foot 6.
straightforward.
Okay. Number two, the granting of the area variance to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 foot 6 inches. Will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. And will not be a detriment to nearby properties. Again, if anyone wants to suggest any further language that documents this consideration, undertaking that.
Yes, we only, you and Tom both visit the site, so I think that really that.
We could, I'd be happy to state that, so, BZA members have visited the site. And
This is.
and concur that the character of the neighborhood will not be changed to the detriment of other properties. So we did make a site visit, so now we repeat that later. The benefits sought by the applicant to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 foot 6 inches cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the variance. BZA members visited the site and determined that other options of going down the slope are not as desirable as the proposed.
Viable.
They're not as viable as the proposed things now, as the proposed route. Feasible, maybe, but they're definitely not preferable, definitely this preferable, and we did, I don't want to add this, but it's because we visited, there is a landing sort of, it would introduce a lot more construction to get down.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so. The requested area variance to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 foot 6 inches is substantial. However, again, we don't see another alternative that's viable. The proposed area variance to decrease the front setback from 40 feet to 3 foot 6 inches will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. And this is where I'd like to put in the consideration of large chestnut oak indicator species in the nearby unique natural area will be protected to the extent practical.
What was that? To
By-
practical?
Yes. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I just didn't catch the word. It's to the extent practical. Okay.
Practically, and we made something about the minimal footprint by the approximately 28 pipes. Find those pipes.
Is that where we should get that in, you think? Yeah,
I just, yeah, I'm concerned about the slope and the minimal damage.
That's why it has,
Originally used drive a thing down, and now you carry it, and you have a hand and
Correct, yeah,
so minimal disturbance in the slope. I wanted to put it.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to add that in.
So what did you say?
building methods are minimally invasive. Building methods by this company or this manufacturer installer.
Yeah.
Yeah, proposed building methods by this installer are minimally invasive.
So,
Did you get that, Molly?
Yes. Do you want me to say this installer? You want me to indicate FLX tram?
Sure.
well, it's just what's proposed. I mean, that's. I'd like to give you a gold star.
Thanks.
Thank you.
The alleged difficulty to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 foot 6 inches is self-created.
Period.
Period, yeah. That's, yeah. The benefit to the applicant in the granting of the area variance to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3 foot 6 inches will outweigh the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood.
Benefit to the,
Yeah, and we want to add any other things there. Regarding the setback from the range.
just like the proposed construction is minimal visually and. That, that's important, we've already said that.
I think we could add there again too as well. Over. The requested area variance to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3'6" is substantial. However, due to the minimal, due to
Disturbance, minimal
yeah, due
disturbance.
to minimal disturbance, and minimal footprint. The substantial variance is mitigated. The proposed area variance to decrease to 75-foot buffer setback from lake to 3'6" will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district due to the construction methods proposed.
I'm sorry, I'm lost. What number are we on?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sorry, we're on number 11.
You could just say for reasons stated above. 'cause it
Yeah,
doesn't
they
do
skipped
that.
8 and 9.
Yeah, it's basically the same. So
Might miss some stuff.
Molly, on 11, the proposed area variance decrease 75-foot buffer setback from lake to 3'6" will not have an adverse effect on or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in neighborhood or district for the reasons stated above.
Do you wanna mention the natural area?
It's not in the
It's next door.
UNA.
No, but
I don't know.
Not right there.
Not here, maybe. The alleged number 12, the alleged difficulty to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3'6" is self-created. For the reasons set forth above and upon the evidence, law, and facts, the BZA hereby does grant the area variance to decrease the front yard setback from the east lot line from 40 feet to 3'6", and does grant the area variance to decrease the setback from the lake from 75 feet to 3'6" for the proposed new tram located at 5 Maplewood Drive Road. 5 Maplewood.
And I, ask.
Can I get Andy's
where-
attention?
Where we're gonna put in, the condition and which ones we're gonna
Yes, well,
allude to the condition.
Yes, okay, so
I think there was one where, yes,
Steve, why don't you offer
the environment maybe.
for friendly amendment?
which number?
If I can interrupt it real quick, I think the board may have skipped items 8 and 9.
Item 9.
8 and 9.
Oh, 8.
8, did I drop past 8 and 9? I'm sorry, let's go back then. Number 8, the granting of the area variance to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3'6" will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood and will not be a detriment to nearby properties. And number 9, the benefits sought by the applicant to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3'6" cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. BZA members visited the site and came to this conclusion. And now I want to insert some language about the.
I think 11 is say where it belongs.
Yes. So, the proposed, we'll go back to number 11, Molly, the proposed area variance to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from lake to 3'6" will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district. The following condition helps to mitigate any adverse effect or impact.
Yeah, but I want to refer to it here, because I don't want to pretend that this is going down 3.5 feet from lake. I want to have put something on the slope, doesn't have any. Especially if it's in addition to a stair. So I don't know, if you wanted to connect those, so as long as, considering.
The owners have agreed to not to the following condition that a separate stairway will not be constructed. Other than the emergency stairway connected to the job.
Cause he's going on number 11.
I can go, you can refer to the condition, we can write that in the.
Okay, just refer to it in number 11 and then just
I'll
drop
say
it
that,
out.
yeah, as long as the, so what do we have here, the budget, was variance to be set back? Not have an adverse impact on the physical environment, and the conditions. Yeah, that's where I'm stuck in the, will not have. Will have minimal impact, can we say that? And-
Yeah, it will have impact, but
And but this is mitigated, what this is mitigated, will be mitigated. That's it.
Okay, the proposed, yes, okay, I'm gonna start over with 11.
Okay.
The proposed area here is decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from lake to 3 foot 6 inches
And minimal,
will have a minimal adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood district, but will be mitigated by the conditions agreed to by the applicant.
how do we usually say that, we refer to the conditional statement? Yes,
Provide, yeah, per the conditions stated below.
And then, so then, we just have to insert the condition, I guess, after 12 and before, for the reasons set forth above. Is that where we put it?
When you refer to, the site visit, you might want to make, consider on the record that both individuals who visit the site are present, signed in with the, involved in the decision.
That's a good point. Molly, we added that we made a site visit a couple times. Which numbers were those again?
We were just on 11. That's where I added at the end. This will be mitigated by the conditions agreed to by the applicant.
so somewhere
No,
between
he
1
said-
and 4.
Yeah,
Talking
so we
about-
get a site visit or something,
yeah.
those are really,
And I did right. In
It's number 3.
We have number 2 and 3 both.
Yeah, okay, number 3, I'm pretty sure we added a note about site visit 3. Is that correct? Or 5. So, if we could, insert in the 5, additional language saying that what Dave Tyler mentioned, that the 2 members of the BZA who made the site visit are present for the hearing. And,
The vote.
and we'll get, yeah, the president will be voting.
And we deliberating and voting.
Thank you. We're present, deliberating, voting in, and then, so I want to put that condition in, after 12 and before, for the reasons, is that where we?
no, I think you have to look,
After,
you can go after.
okay, good, after that. All right, then can we,
So for the reasons set forth and then after.
so I guess we'll just have, some condition of approval. Number 1, the applicant will not agrees not to construct a separate stairway to the lake on the property, in the future.
All right, so give me the right words for that, because it's, if the applicant moves and they becomes another person, then what? I want to make sure this goes on the. Is it restriction on the deed on the land?
Yeah, I'd also like to make sure that in that condition, it has a provision other than the safety egress stairs. In case the safety egress stairs.
Yeah, good one,
Okay,
so we can add that on.
Yeah. But as a variance, I mean, this runs with the land regardless of ownership.
In the future, there should be a deed restriction, when they pass it on to future owners.
I just didn't want to say the applicant, it's not necessarily the applicant, that the applicant or anything.
Right, you can require a deed restriction as well.
And then you can just say that.
Is it or is not true that if someone decided to build a set of stairs, maybe nuts, given what I've seen on the property, they would have to come for a variance?
No,
No,
they didn't go to the plan, that's what I asked before.
If,
a separate stair would work without a variance.
as long as it's not in the setback, it would.
Okay,
Yeah, the variance would have, they'd have to encroach on one of our area.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the prohibition against the stairs is exclusive of the emergency egress. and
Yeah,
ingress.
so, what words did you say? That was a good one, except for, Dave's saying exclusive of the emergency.
Yeah,
Let's-
Basically, that no additional stairs will be constructed other than the safety egress stairs as proposed on the site plan.
Yes,
Yes, okay.
yes, you get that on.
Exclusive of the safety egress stairs, no other separate stairway will be constructed on site.
The safety
Other than
egress
that.
stairs on the tram, like,
Other than the safety
what do
egress
you call it? You
stairs
call the whole thing the tram?
as proposed. on the
Yeah.
site plan.
Yeah.
Attached to the tram frame, tram.
Mhm. So. Finding conditions, did you read that last one? Conditions here? I'm sorry. For the reason set forth, you did all that.
Oh, I did not. So, well, here we go. For the reasons set forth above, and upon the evidence, law, and facts, the BZA hereby does grant the area variance to decrease the front yard setback for the east lot line from 40 feet to 3 foot 6 inches. It does grant the area variance to decrease the setback like from 75 feet to 3 foot 6 inches. For the proposed new tram located at 5 Maplewood Road. Conditions.
And then it says subject to the following conditions, which is.
Subject to the following.
Okay, any further discussion on that?
May need to have it went back.
Sure.
Where do you want to begin? From the beginning?
From yeah, where we stand at the very beginning.
Yeah, now therefore be resolved.
Yep.
As follows.
Number one, the benefit to the applicant and the granting of the area variance to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 feet and 6 inches will outweigh the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood.
Benefit will.
Number two, the granting of the area variance to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 feet and 6 inches will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood and will not be a detriment to nearby properties. BZA members have visited the site and concur that the character of the neighborhood will not be changed to the detriment of other properties. Number three, the benefit sought by the applicant to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 feet and 6 inches cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. BZA members visited the site and determined that other options of going down the slope are not as viable as the proposed route.
Let's say two BZA members.
And then number four, the requested area variance to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 feet and 6 inches is substantial. Number five, the proposed area variance to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 feet and 6 inches will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. Consideration of the large chestnut oak. I need to fix this. Consideration of the two large chestnut oaks.
Well,
Just one
one large chestnut.
of one large chestnut oak. And an indicator species in the unique natural area will be protected to the extent practical. Proposed building methods by the installer are minimally invasive. The two members of the BZA who visited the site are present for the hearing and will be deliberating and voting. Number 6, the alleged difficulty to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to 3 feet and 6 inches is self-created. Number 7, the benefit to the applicant in the granting of the area variance to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3 feet and 6 inches will outweigh the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. Due to minimal disturbance and minimal footprint, the substantial variance is mitigated. Number 8, the granting of the area variance to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3 feet and 6 inches will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood and will not be a detriment to nearby properties. Number 9, the benefit sought by the applicant to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3 feet and 6 inches cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. BZA members visited, two BZA members visited this site and came to this conclusion. Number 10, the requested area variance to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3 feet and 6 inches is substantial. Number 11, the proposed area variance to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3 feet and 6 inches will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district for the reasons stated above. This will be mitigated by the conditions agreed to by the applicant. And number 12, the alleged difficulty to decrease the 75-foot buffer setback from the lake to 3 feet and 6 inches is self-created. For the reasons set forth above and upon the evidence, laws, and facts, the BZA hereby does grant the area variance to decrease the front yard setback from the east lot line from 40 feet to 3 feet and 6 inches, and does grant the area variance to decrease the setback from the lake from 75 feet to 3 feet and 6 inches for the proposed new tram located at 5 Maplewood Road, subject to the following conditions of approval. Number 1, exclusive of the safety egress stairs attached to the tram, the applicant has agreed not to construct a separate stairway. Number 2, a site plan or survey shall be submitted to the planning board for their final site plan review that delineates the proposed tram in relation to the UNA 62 boundaries, the Maplewood Glen and Lake Slopes unique natural area. Should any portion of the tram be located within UNA 62, there shall be minimal disturbance of the land during construction to the maximum extent feasible.
And did you get the further condition that the deed restriction will be put in by the applicant to subsequent?
Do you want that added to number 1?
What's that?
I think so. So you're saying they're, onus is on them to put it in there?
Right, but that's what I'm saying is, I guess, we want to go on record saying, that that's required
Right,
as a condition.
right. And we've done that in the other ones, we did it with tires.
Right.
Yep. So what are the words?
Words are that this condition be memorialized in the title by a deed restriction when the property is conveyed to a third party.
Does they want to do it?
So
That's when you do it?
Yeah.
So there's no action they have to do now, only
Oh.
they can be.
I suppose they could define put a separate.
No, that's fine. I was just asking you. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I mean, referring to this, approval, they could, very, the covenant, restricted covenant, going with the title. You're out.
Okay, so Niels had said that a variance will just go with the property. Is that not enough?
Well, if you, I've seen many times this happens. You get a buyer who's not aware of the restriction. And then, there's a conflict. I've had this personally happen to me.
Let's go less is more here, let's go minimal, and what do you have? Because there was a lot of words you just put out there, a lot of discussion, but what are the specific words we want here?
So right now I just have exclusive of the safety egress stairs attached to the tram, the applicant has agreed not to construct a separate stairway. Then do you want to add another sentence, or do you wanna,
Something
Change
like
the first
It should
sentence.
be conveyed in the,
Property, when the property is wrapped or conveyed to a third party, this restriction will be, contained in the deed of a conveyance.
like that,
You said memorialized and entitled by a deed restriction.
Right.
okay, so after that sentence that I have not changed, I added, when the property is conveyed to a third party. This restriction will be, and what did you want to put after that?
would you say memorialized?
Memorialized in,
Restricted covenant.
In this restricted.
Right.
In a restrictive covenant.
Restrictive, right, right.
Right.
I feel bad about that. Yes, you okay with that?
The wording,
Just the.
Yeah.
And the statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you, Molly. That's great. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. That's it. Any discussion amongst us?
The only thing I would suggest is, the property owner should make note of this condition of restricted covenant going in the deed, so that this gets carried out.
On conveyance,
Yes,
if you convey it to somebody else.
Right.
Okay, great. Thank you.
because, I'll just tell you a short story that, a neighbor of ours was represented by an attorney, and for several years later, the property that we got title to was also represented by this same attorney, but didn't include the special language that should have been included. And so later owners claimed ignorance of the conditions.
Right, so that would be protecting of your fellow citizens. All right, great. I'm ready to call, we're on the discussion, ready to call the vote. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. So the variance is, motion carries and variance is granted. Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm gonna miss seeing you in here. You can come back for other variances.
Sure, we'll find something.
Thanks for being patient with us. I really appreciate it and working with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. Enjoy your trip.
Thanks for providing me the information. that we
Yeah, the
need.
information, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it's tedious, but thank you, Barry. Thanks, thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Thank you, Mr. Ritchie.
All right, thank you.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas, everybody.
You too, thank you. All right, the first item of new business is a public hearing for an appeal from Charles Gutman, I guess, representing the behalf of the property owners, Marty Bennett Gray and Thomas Bennett Jr. Who are proposing to subdivide the existing 1.56 acre lot into 2 lots. The R zone requires a minimum lot area of 32,000 square feet for lots with public water, 160 feet of lot width at the front of lot line, 200 feet of lot depth, and a rear yard setback of 35 feet, and a maximum lot coverage of 7.5% for the code town Ulysses CTU 212-40. Five area variances are requested from the BZA as part of the overall subdivision review with the planning board. One is
Before you get into those, before I have another coughing fit, given my health and that I will not be on the board to vote on any of this, I would like to take my leave and thank you all very much. You still have a quorum here.
Yeah, we do. Thank you.
So
Take care of your health.
Thanks, Tom.
And,
thank you all.
Happy holidays,
I
Tom.
want to take the time to thank you, really, thank you.
Let me just get your input on something that I want to disclose for the record right now, which is if you look in the exhibits, you will see that there's a deed renting of, conveying the property to the applicants, preserving life estate. In the couple who owned it, Joyce and Tom Bennett. And I represented that they looked at the deed, you'll see my notarization on the deed, I think it's on 2005 or whatever. Does anyone have a?
I'm sorry, he worried about a
Why,
quorum.
why are you?
I think he's worried about a quorum before you leave.
Yeah.
But what are you saying? You
Something
represented
about
the members'
Joyce and
family?
Tom Bennett.
Yeah, okay.
We have a forum, I
Let me,
think,
let me,
we're
let
there.
me, let me.
What was that?
Let me explain. The two individuals who originally owned the property. The first one, Joyce Bennett, passed on. And I handled the estate, the settlement. of the
Yeah,
estate.
you don't have to explain it to Tom. You have to just say what you're saying. What are you saying? You want to
What do you
recuse
want
yourself?
I'm-
Should you be recused? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, exactly.
I say no. Anybody have any input? So on this, and I think we said it before, we covered this, I don't want
He was the legal,
To the-
agent for someone.
to relative to a relative.
Yeah,
Okay,
I represent the applicant.
yeah, I want to say this, because we say that we do this a lot. It's really hard in this town not to be knowing people and not to have relationships and all that. I don't think that qualifies as like, it's some,
No, but
reason for
if you're a
recusal.
lawyer representing,
It's not the people, these aren't the people, there are some relatives, right?
well, well, let's put it this way. The children who are the applicants here, Tom and Joyce Bennett. Those people I represented in the Joyce Bennett estate.
Okay.
And I just want to have that clear on the record that if anybody thinks I should recuse myself.
All right, is that what you're asking? Does
Yeah.
anybody think you should recuse
Well,
yourself? Does anybody think you should recuse yourself?
Steve,
Yeah,
I think it's up to each member of the board to recuse themselves, not somebody else.
he's asking us, what we think,
Yeah,
and I think that's fine. I don't think it's a reason to. So, but if you said I need to recuse myself, then of course I would honor it.
You know, like I say, I don't see it as a direct conflict, but
I
I
don't,
do see it as kind of, well, it raises the issue, at least in my mind. And I wouldn't want it to come up and say, or have someone say, well, he shouldn't have been involved in this
sure.
deliberation.
Sure, I have a couple things that I always like to consider, and they're the ones that we're always reminded of, and that's, is it a direct conflict of interest and and then second is it a perceived conflict of interest, so we try to stay away from all that. I don't feel,
I don't have a problem.
well, maybe,
Okay,
okay, so that's my opinion, what do you want to do? I'll honor whatever you want to do.
I wasn't,
I like that you got it on the record, thank you.
I would have recused myself if, the majority of you folks thought I should. Wasn't thinking of doing that, so
Okay,
if I had the sense of the board that that's not a problem, then you are excused.
thank you, and thanks, Tom, thanks for bearing with us, too.
Okay,
Thanks a lot for,
Sorry.
take care of yourself.
there,
Sorry to hold you up.
don't
I
get
know.
this bug, it's around a lot and it's nasty.
I know. Thanks, Tom. See ya. Okay, that's on the record. You feel better? Okay, good. All right, so 5 area variances are requested. 1, reduction of the minimum lot area under CTU 212.4.40.b. 2, reduction of the minimum lot width under CTU 212.40.b. 3, reduction of the minimum lot depth under CTU 212.40.e. 4, reduction of the rear yard setback under CTU 212-40.8. And 5, exception from the maximum lot coverage under CTU 212.40.j. Okay, the planning board was briefed on the proposal during their December 5th meeting in the sketch plan review. Were they briefed again on this, or? just
Not
the
yet.
fifth?
No, just the ones.
Okay, the subject lot is in ownership with an adjacent lot located in the village of Trumansburg. If both parcels were located within the town, the request would be a simple lot line adjustment to move the position of a diagonal line to the proposed vertical lot line. However, given that the property is split between two jurisdictions, the only two options available are a set of annexations by both the town and the village. Or, yeah, you laughing, or a set of area variances and minor subdivision approvals by both municipalities. The applicant has moved forward with minor subdivision request and the associated necessary variances. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay, we have a request here, and I'm not quite sure about this, but did the BZA review the information, decide if more is needed in order to move this forward? Or are we, and is that all we're doing, is providing the planning board with whether we want more information, or are we moving all the way through the variance request here?
So one of the,
Let me ask the question, have you? Has the village acted on this?
The village has said they're not interested.
All right, we're gonna ask this question to the, okay, let me finish this. Niels?
okay, so one of the matters is the planning boards gave notice to act as lead agency for this because there are actions, both the planning board and the BZA that are considered unlisted actions. So that requires either both boards to do an uncoordinated review, or since the planning board gave notice to act as lead agency, that would be a coordinated review. So this is an opportunity for the BZA to decide if you want the planning board to act as lead agency.
Yeah.
And then if that's okay, then this is also an opportunity for the board to give the planning board any comments or considerations when they conduct seeker.
I would add one thing, the planning board has asked before they give final approval that we submit to them a topographical survey showing whether there's any wetlands or anything on parcel B,
Right,
and that's being done by TG Mills. It's not yet been completed, but obviously we'll get that to the planning board before they give final approval.
Oh, by the way, I didn't mention the fact that,
It was going to.
well, then go ahead and mention it.
I would just state for the record that David and I worked together for, I don't know how many years until he retired. I don't think that's a reason for you to recuse yourself,
No, I was a counsel, not a partner.
not, but I think you're still retired.
Yes.
But I just thought that it should be made public.
okay, good, thank you. I like
I
that. I
haven't
like
talked
when
to
we
any of his clients since this afternoon.
make these things public, it's very important. But I like to move on. And I'm not quite sure what the answer was there. So are we moving all the way through the variance request, or are we just looking at this and coming up with discussion points to pass on to the planning board? First of all, we need to vote. Is that what you're saying? Vote whether they should be the lead agency?
The board, the BZA board should have a motion to decide whether or not the planning board should act as lead agency.
Okay, does anybody want to make a motion on that?
I move that the planning board be the lead agency.
Okay, great,
On the
second
Bennett case.
on this here.
A second.
And then seconded, okay. Any discussion on that? Can you?
I'll draw that up.
Read?
Yeah,
So what is the motion is?
The motion was to make, they have the planning board be the lead agency.
Okay.
Okay, good. Any discussion on that? You want to say anything else about that?
no, I mean,
Okay, good, I like that. Any more further discussion? How about calling the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, it's unanimous, there's 4 of us here. Motion carries. So
Okay.
the planning board is now will be the lead agent, yeah.
well, there's 2 other agencies. There's both, the village has an opportunity to
Right.
weigh in, and so does the county, but it's unlikely that either one of them.
They can weigh in, but for, as far as our town is concerned, they're the lead agency now.
For now, yeah.
Okay, great.
So with that, the planning board's next meeting will be the
Oh, yeah.
July 16th. So at that point,
July, okay, good.
or sorry,
January.
January 16th.
Okay.
And at that point, they should be able to issue their secret determination. So once that's done, the BZA can make a final decision on the area variances. BZA can't make that decision until after the seeker is done,
We can't, and they can't.
correct?
And you said they're gonna topographic map of the
We've
area.
asked TG Mills to do it. They've said, we'll try and get it done before January 16th, but I can't control them.
No, that's fine. I mean, that's-
So you mentioned the village BZA didn't wanna. get
They didn't,
involved.
we told them about it, they said, no big, we're not interested.
Well, meaning they'll defer to our decision.
Yes,
Our other decisions. Is that true?
I assume, I mean, the planning board will give the subdivision.
Can you find that
approval.
out before we all do our work and then, you know?
I
they
will,
say-
I will confirm that again,
Okay,
but
yeah,
that's
I mean,
what I was
that's,
told.
I assume too, but still, I'd like to know.
Why don't you get a little letter from them to us stating that?
I'm okay with verbals. I just don't wanna.
I will check with
spend
them.
time doing that.
And from the village's point of view.
Yeah.
Parcel A, there's no change. Parcel B, the village part of parcel B is 0.07 acres in vacant land. So they would be figuring this is much ado about nothing.
They don't wanna get involved in this changing the boundaries of the municipality.
Well, that was what the planning board said. Wouldn't it be simpler?
Yeah.
To annex the properties, change the municipal lines. And I suggested to them that I don't think that's simpler than anything.
Well, so, while we're here, so I'm not sure what we need to do other than, ask some questions and maybe provide some input to send back to the board, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
What are your thoughts on this? Did you look at this? Question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one very nice map that shows two rectangular lots. The front one is shorter than the
This
back
one?
one.
One of these.
Okay, I don't have that.
Oh, okay, yeah, this was good.
Yeah,
Okay,
where did we
I
get
made
that?
sure I printed it out large so we could all share it.
Where did we get that?
That was the, where's the agenda? No, it's not in the agenda. It was a link and it's PowerPoint and it's PDF.
Okay.
It's where it's actually, so there, one of those.
Yeah.
And I poured over it and I was like, okay. So the blue is the. Yeah, yeah, right. Good. This one's good. That's the color one, which is really nice. So the blue is ours and the original yellow is the village.
Okay, and
Thank
where's
you.
the original assembly line is my question.
Right now, all
the
the green and
diagonal.
all the yellow is one lot.
Oh, it's all one lot.
Yes,
Okay.
currently it's one lot.
That's right.
So the intention is to subdivide this into two lots.
Okay,
And if you do that, you're gonna have
But you want to subdivide it with that vertical line, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Which is-
beautiful.
a continuation of the lot line to the south
Yeah.
between the Duke property and the Swanhart property. Because what's going to happen is parcel B will be conveyed to Cynthia and James Duke. They want to acquire parcel B for protection. And so they said, let's make the line be the continuation of all, be there, westerly line. So that's why that line is where it is.
Which one do they want to keep, the current owners?
The Dews are gonna purchase parcel B. And the Dews westerly line is a north-south line. They said, just please extend that northerly, so our line will be a straight line.
Yeah.
It made sense, but if you subdivide it, you have the southeast corner of parcel A is gonna be a lot within the town, which is gonna have 0.13 acres.
Okay, so that, can I stop you there? Because this is the only thing that wasn't super clear to me. It seems to me that you're gonna end up making 4 parcels under this?
Yes,
Is that the technicality of it?
yes,
All right, so because those 2 triangles are
Yeah.
different parcels, technically.
there'll be
And
2
that's what we would
parcels
be
in the
okay.
town, 2 parcels in the village.
Okay, and we would be okaying those little triangles that are gonna be like, weird parcels, but not for the village, just for our side.
Yes,
So are we just okaying the one little triangle parcel?
well, actually, you're granting variances for the southeast portion of parcel A,
Point to that, please.
which is where most of the garage is.
I think that's the like triangle.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a parcel which is 0.07 acres. It's probably misses
Parcel A
every
is
single
ours?
area of
No.
requirement that there is.
We're granting this
But the
to
big
be a
problem,
parcel. Cause this is, this
Where's
side of
the
the
town,
diagonal,
where's the village?
this is our town, this is side of the diagonal.
Why are we granting a parcel over the?
This is
First
town,
thing that
most of it's in the,
they're allowed to
City
make that.
town, I got it.
most of the garage is
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
sorry.
town.
So, I was just.
I think there was an
the other one
error
was-
in the application where you said, I think we reversed, the municipalities. I think it's
In the description, I mean?
Yeah.
No, I got you. It's basically, we would be okay at one parcel.
And that little triangle that's in the town
right.
Yeah.
is deficient every possible way. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's a total of 0.07
Yeah,
acres.
that's what five,
The
Yeah,
rear
so
yard,
all pointing at that one
rear
triangle.
yard setback is 0.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I
Right.
think of the building, it may even be a negative. I mean, it doesn't, nothing makes sense,
Right.
because
Okay, so can you work me through that? What happens once that little doorstop triangle shaped parcel is given the okay by us, since that's in our,
well, that, if when the planning board approves the subdivision, you will have that parcel. And you will be saying that it's okay to have the garage sitting on it. It's okay to have a parcel which has not enough frontage, not enough side yard, not enough rear yard, not enough total acreage, not enough lot coverage, nothing is right about it. But I guess my argument is, I think the question was, is this a detrimental effect to the neighborhood? I think my argument is, it's not a detrimental effect, it's not a positive effect, there's no effect to the neighborhood,
Right.
because everything is just the way it was.
Now,
It's
the
just-
only headache is gonna be for the tax assessor. And you
Yes.
have to-
Tax
Okay,
assessors have to figure out
but
the
those are good.
value of the garage.
Those are considerations for down the line a little
Right.
bit, and so I don't think we're here, ready to argue, and I don't think there's really an argument here. And I mean it in both senses of the word too, but,
Let me call the attention of the narrative to the area variance for the Bennett subdivision, paragraph 3.
go ahead, read it.
Well, it says, the new parcel containing a house and garage will meet all the area requirements. But for the fact that the garage is located in the village and the house is located in the town.
Backwards.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's not right, yeah. And it meets all the area requirements, is that true?
Well, if the house and the garage were all in the village, there'd be no problem.
Right.
Because if it was one parcel, but because there's the municipal line,
Sure,
um,
and it's true.
yeah, I mean, technically, there's a problem for the village because the rear yard setback of that, it's got a garage and no setback. But
Okay,
I
so,
guess they're figuring it doesn't matter because it's exactly what it was.
so here's my dilemma. The way we work, if you call something a parcel, then all the rights. And you say, it's okay to have a one that violate, they go with variance, then all the rights are given to that parcel, so why can't, the person who owns these little triangles put a house on those little triangles?
Well, you're granting a variance to allow the garage to exist the way it exists.
So why can't they put a house on that parcel too?
I think, because that would
Another
be,
structure, it's a
Well-
separate parcel, and,
Cause we'll put it in the
That's what I'm worried about.
conditions or the deed restrictions or
well,
whatever.
that's what I wanna
I
hear from.
think the variance should say that you're granting a variance for the garage to exist as it now
And
exists.
nothing else.
Nothing else.
Well, no, I'm saying nothing else.
We're
Or
asking,
you're gonna write it. or you-
we're asking for nothing else.
Okay, I didn't see that anywhere. And the other thing is, I don't see that this is then gonna be fused onto that little triangle. Are you gonna get rid of that triangle forever?
We can't. Because it's in a different municipality, we can't
municipalities.
combine it into one tax.
So there's no way you can put one parcel, yeah. And
No.
our dilemma would be, we wouldn't even be here if that were.
Then we're back to Rich and asking the town to annex. This
Yeah, I think
one
we should've
triangle
done it.
into the village and one triangle into the town. And I
Yeah,
don't think you want to do that.
I don't think.
no, that would be the new town boundaries. You'd have to do that. I get it. Okay, I get that. So, but I'm still concerned about, other structures on that. Once we make it into a parcel, then they have the rights to do things.
I think I'm gonna say that a reasonable condition.
Yeah.
Is that no further structures be put on the triangle which is gonna be within the town.
Okay.
No further structures.
That seems reasonable to the board. I mean, I'm just letting you know, otherwise I think we're gonna hit.
There's no room to put anything else there.
I mean, that's
Well, I know what's sensible, what isn't, I just wanna make sure that
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I mean, this is essentially a lot line adjustment, except it's.
Well, it's a way to get around it.
It's a lot line
But it's
adjustment,
not,
but you
but it's
can't
not,
do
we're
a lot
actually
line
saying
adjustment.
this is a lot, and this lot has a race of a lot, and I'm worried about the future.
Yeah, but, you know, if we mention things, you're clear in our approval, that this.
I prefer that you make it clear in your asking. I like what you're saying now, I'm with you, I'm feeling if we're communicating, I prefer that you ask us.
And my understanding is that you and I agree that the variance will state that the triangle, which will be in the town, has a variance for the existence of the structures now on it, and that there will be no further structures put on it without coming back to this board.
And right now, we say nothing about the garage, the existence of the garage.
Well,
In the
I think you gotta say that the garage exists. And that the garage may, we
But it's
may,
not part of it, it's not part of the request, is it? Setback, I guess the setback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
step back.
Yeah, sure, but so you're gonna put that in,
I make that absolutely clear.
In fact, let me make a suggestion.
yeah, please.
Maybe we should have appended to our decision a copy of this map. We have in front of
Never down the line.
Well,
The planning, that's gonna have to be well, that's.
what I'm saying, that would be clearer.
Is that we down the line?
there's no reason not to attach a copy of the map to the decision. I mean, we're gonna add one page, but why not attach it?
Was a variance necessary to construct this garage originally?
No, well, I don't know when it was constructed.
Could someone live in the garage?
Now, my understanding is it is just a garage.
Well, the people who built the garage are no longer alive.
It may predate the zoning ordinance. They have no idea when they built this garage.
Right, yeah.
We should go to the
All right,
fact.
that's a good, I like your thought, we train the top, are you on the same train of thought? Right, it's a separate dwelling and, we're given permission to have it. Be,
So the garage is to be used as a garage or for
Or
storage,
not.
nothing else.
I think, or instead of a list of what, maybe we should list what shouldn't be used.
Well, I think it's easy to say garage can be a garage. And I assume it'd be reasonable to say the garage could be used for storage.
Or not a dwelling, what's a better way to do it? It can't be used as a dwelling. Right.
I'll defer to.
I just don't know what's
Mr.
illegal,
Tyler.
well, that's the legal stuff. Well, it's not, it's only an Airbnb, or it's only.
The record was should reflect that, Tom Bennett Senior was for many years the village mayor.
I don't think the record should reflect that. I don't agree with that.
I think that you asked me about, how the garage get built.
No, I'm not, I'm worried about the future.
Oh. All right, so
Yeah,
is
I'm
this
not sure.
bigger, is this rectangle lot, if that were to be considered as a whole parcel A as a whole shape, would that be compliant with zoning? Either-
Parcel A is compliant with the village requirements, with the exception of a rear yard issue, because you've got a garage that butts the end of the parcel. But if you think of parcel A as being a rectangle, then there's no area deficiencies for the village. For parcel B, it's,
Because the parcel line was across the garage, so obviously it's pushing against the rear yard setback or whatever that is. The
At
rear
the
yard-
parcel line, the town
It's gonna be a parcel. one.
Will be, so will.
Right. These are gonna be 4 parcels.
yes,
Well, I was just thinking of it as an actual usable rectangle.
Yeah,
If that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then by putting that line there, are we making it, like, is the coverage too much or is the area too much, which would make us say, move this back?
for the rectangle.
Yeah.
I don't think so, I think everything's fine, just pretend that was right,
I mean, it says
but it's not
32
It's not.
feet from, the garage is 32 feet from that line and it should be
Yeah.
35.
in an hour. It's 35 in an hour.
Yeah.
So,
But we also have that thing about 20% of everything is legal, so.
It's not all of them, though, it's just some of them, sometimes.
No, it's a general thing. I didn't do that. For all, accessory buildings or.
Oh, okay.
For the piece that's in the village, there's not an issue with lot coverage. For that little triangle, just by looking at it, I can tell you it's more than 20%.
Oh, I'm not worried about the triangles, they're just silly.
And parcel B is simple because other than a little shed, there's nothing there.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anything you want to add here?
Now, I will get a clearer statement to the board.
I like this, I like these, I like very clear statements, because then instead of us asking the next time and then sending us all back to go, all right, well, let's look at.
Why don't I leave one of these with you?
Yeah.
Because I'll still live.
That's an original.
I know. They were my treasure original surveys.
I like your communication about the proposal containing all of the conditions
Yeah,
already, so.
Yeah,
that
ask us,
all-
yeah, instead of doing it here and then we have to write it all up and propose it to you, I prefer you propose it to us.
I'd be happy to do that.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you too.
My pleasure.
And we'll see you again, I guess, if this keeps moving forward. Is there anything else we need to do in this procedure?
Only if the board wants to give any comments to the planning board on seeker.
Environmental? Like what comments?
You don't-
Environmental or?
You don't have to, I mean, but yes, it should be
Yeah,
germane to
I was
the
wondering,
seeker.
I'm not sure what I would do. I think the topo map would be fine to see, but I don't see an issue with this at all. Environmental concerns at all, Carol?
Yeah, think of it.
Yeah, I couldn't even have it. Doesn't mean that we won't come up with any later, but I don't have any to give them right now.
Okay,
Keep doing a good job. I'm glad they're the lead agency. It would help if they made the decision before we have to make it. That's my statement.
Well, jump before you know what they just. And then right there, ask you, but,
No problem.
no. Come around.
Yeah, I will.
It's not. You know,
Yeah. It's just-
All the links, but-
There's just a link embedded in the paragraph. No, it's in the paragraph.
I mean, was it the original agenda that was sent us to repair the machine, or was it more recent?
No, not in the original.
Okay, I get it now. I mean, it's. So are we going to do first?
Okay, we gotta move on here. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Appreciate it.
very good.
Thank you. Have a good night. Good holidays too.
Sorry,
No, that's all right. I just want to move on and or move and just keep going. I think the next order, I reverse those things is the Burris, variance, you want to give us a 30 second?
Yeah.
on that one?
so similar request, the planning board has given notice to act as lead agency. Similar to this one. So I would need a motion for that as well.
I move that the planning board be the lead agency for the Burris case.
Subdivision, I guess. Second, anybody want a second there?
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion on that? No, my discussion is on for, let's go, call the vote, all in favor?
All right.
Aye, okay, that's unanimous. Motion carries,
Have you,
planning board will be the lead.
the letter from the
Lead agent.
planning, with the county planning people?
For Burris, not yet.
Okay, the OS, right?
It's, yes.
Okay.
Well, so I'd like to see, and so while we're on that topic, we needed that stuff, we need the documentation, and we need a better map.
Yep.
And they can't just give us a grand drawing of where they, Sharpie, I think, was over the top of some.
We have, all I saw was one lot that was kind of a flag looking lot,
And Sharpie,
but I didn't
We did.
understand again what, I might have missed something, but what was the original and. I mean, I only saw one lot delineated with a sharp.
Sure.
Right, that's the one, so what was, where is the
okay, I just
subdivision,
wanna make sure.
what is it being subdivided from?
I don't know,
Okay,
I don't know. I wasn't ready to take it up, given that we didn't have the adequate.
So there was a comment about, the reason the line was drawn was that the well he wants to retain someone showing the map, and I didn't see it.
Yeah, well, that's okay, but the planning board was dealing with all that stuff, and they actually asked more specific questions than we need to get into at this time.
Neil, do you know what the whole lot shape is?
And since the planning board meeting,
It's all that there.
trying to work with the surveyor.
I think it's this, right? Good.
So next, so for configuration, so this little appendage, that little appendage. So that's the lot. I believe today was comment, I think his well's here. So that's why you need a line there.
Okay, so it's two flag lots
That's, but hold on.
coming off of together.
Yes.
Okay.
So we need a lot more to compare. Yeah. Some more details. But, that was my concern. I just didn't feel like we had enough information, and I prefer to get a lot more information before we even embark on this.
And it looks like this guy
Thank you.
is averse to, paying professionals, and we have to pay the.
Lots of people don't want to start doing that. I get it, but we need to, see the professional work before we make a decision. Okay, the next thing was the proposed code amendments.
Oh,
Can
real
you
quick,
talk about that?
did the board have any comments to the planning board on this one?
Oh, any
For seeker.
comments to them?
I thought that looked good. I wasn't really invested in what it needed to say though, so did you?
I
Think you would thought?
would like to, I hear what the planning board is, because I know some of the people on the planning board. But I would like. Do they write us a statement? What would call that take shape?
Say
They
that
give
again.
us a summary statement, will they actually write something to us and then we can look at that too?
The seeker,
That's it, just a secret,
if that's what you're asking about, yeah, there's a resolution that they'll do for seeker.
they'll do a resolution on that, okay.
Yeah.
all right.
But did you see the text that they suggested?
No,
Okay, so somewhere in all of these zillion,
We have a race team.
attachments.
oh yeah, Linda, oh yes, there we go, we know a planning board person. Hi, Linda.
I guess I'm kind of confused. So on all subdivisions now, the planning board has to do the seeker before it can go for variances?
No, not all. We just said that you're the lead agency, but I would prefer to see.
But we're always lead agency, aren't we? I mean, we've always been lead agency.
That's true.
So, to your question, Linda, if there aren't any other agencies involved, then the planning board automatically is the lead agency. But when there are cases where, in this case, both boards have to review seeker because the state law classifies an action either as a type 1 or unlisted action,
Oh,
then,
okay.
yeah, that's where this came in, where the planning
Oh,
board. gave
So
notice.
the Burris's property has another potential lead agency? I thought
It'd
they
be
would,
the BZA and the planning board both.
oh, okay. So before the BZA can actually do the variance, deal with the variance, we have to have the seeker approve. I mean, a lot of, Yeah, go
There has
ahead.
to be a determination by the planning board on seeker, yes.
Because a lot of times it depends on the variance, what the seeker will turn out to be, right?
No, that's not the case.
Well, okay,
Well, sometimes we change the order of that stuff where
Okay.
your board will say, yeah, we're gonna look at it, but then we don't know if it's gonna be a variance or not. I know it's practical for the applicant, but it's not best case. I really would like to see where you guys stand on this, and I definitely want more details. And
yeah,
also-
we're with you on that, more details.
Okay,
We were
yeah,
totally, nonplussed about that, yeah,
right, and we just can't move forward. It's nice
yeah,
for that to discuss, but I don't want to get it to this board and put it in a hearing and not have details, and certainly to not have a.
Yep.
Yeah, right?
yeah, I'm really surprised that you don't have a better map than what we had.
I'm not surprised, I just don't feel like we should spend a lot more time on this until we get more information.
Yeah,
But, our question directed at us was, do we have any more things to direct toward you, some questions, and I think the seeker, I'd like to see the seeker. Zach?
So all members should have the first 3 pages of the short form.
Mhm.
So if there's any questions or comments on that, that would be,
All
yeah.
On the seeker.
Yep.
So do we have to do that tonight, or can we give them in writing? How's that work?
You've got 30 days. It needs to be to the planning board before their next meeting.
And then does it have to be as a board? Is the board or individuals is that okay? I'm just asking, I don't have anything in mind.
I mean, is the letter from the county gonna come to both boards?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to ask them? Let's post this. I haven't.
About the birds or about the next thing?
I think we're talking about birds,
Okay.
because the question was put to us, do we have any things to say about the seeker specifically, or about?
Seeker specifically. No.
I'm seeing a no here.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. We look forward to getting stuff from you, Linda. That'd be great. Good luck.
so would we.
And we'll see you next year, right?
Okay, proposed code amendment, you want to tell us what that is?
The little law that they added about having signage. The yellow part.
Oh,
Signage.
Oh, for this one, the sign thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I think.
I'm fine. I mean, I just, it seemed like nothing. Not a big decision. Are you for that or not?
Yeah, but I think it was, it maybe Bob that wanted that, or
No,
all of us.
no. Yeah, the sign was good. But then there's one other issue that we didn't, I thought you were gonna deal with here, but we didn't, right?
Which is,
The 1,500 feet, something like that.
so,
This is just putting a sign in front. a
Correct.
Visible sign.
correct. So
I'm totally for it. Anybody against this? Or, yeah.
I think it would make those people to find the property where the question's gonna be.
Yeah, when you drive by, I think Bob made a case at the board meeting, dual board meeting, basically, that, you're informed, you see it and say, oh, it's that sign, oh, and go up, oh, that's interesting, I didn't know that. Although there's other ways to find out, that's a good way to go.
Okay, but that's.
Anything to add about that? Any details that we haven't considered?
not that I have.
All right, so what do you need from us? Do we need a vote or not? Or we're just discussing?
I guess I'd direct that question to Rich, if that's enough for him to move forward with.
What are they giving?
We appreciate this.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, because there was like a request to you and you guys were like, yeah, sounds good.
That's what.
It's a notification.
Oh,
So that would go on every single applicant would get that one of those signs in front of their
Yes.
location.
Tell me like the city of Livingston, that's what they want.
Well, it's like lots of places, right?
Yeah.
that's fine.
It's just,
So you don't need anything more from the BZA at this point? Okay.
We were looking for an additional ad about
There's the insert, there's the-
increasing the amount of area that the letters.
Where we
flash.
notify, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's a different thing. Right?
So this is what we got for today.
Yeah.
That's,
Agreed.
that's all I've got. Yep,
All right, do we need a vote or anything like that?
doesn't sound like it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, thanks for responding to that, we appreciate it. It's a little, not disheartening, it's not the right word, but it's like, disappointing that we don't get a lot of public interaction. And don't quote me on this one, I know. Sometimes it's not that great, but, I think the more people know, the better, don't you?
Yeah, transparency.
Well,
Well,
transparency.
if they really know the whole story, it's
Right.
good, but if they
That's right.
don't, then
Right.
a
Just
lot of
help get
people
them
with
out.
the little bits of information is not usually a great
Yeah.
situation.
Well, you know, newspaper ads are fine, but who reads the legals?
Yeah, no,
And
right. Anyway, I like the transparency, I prefer to lean on that, and you're right, we might, pay the price for that a little bit. But not so bad, it's not so bad as we usually. You want to talk about the schedule?
The only thing this doesn't have is the amount of feet, how far the sun is gonna.
Right. Well, that was the, how far we were gonna notify people, you mean that one?
Yeah,
How, that was the notification in the mail,
right,
and that's a different thing than this, I guess.
yes, we haven't taken that.
Yeah, we suggested, what did we end up suggesting, 1,500 feet?
one bunch of moms, she just, I think we came back with 1,000.
1,000?
I think in the last minutes it said up to 1,500,
Oh.
but that's the draft I got from Nate. So
That doesn't talk about.
No, that's a different, I think that's a different element than this,
We should-
because those aren't, that's not signage, Rich, this is signage for sure, we need a sign in front of each property, but then that was notification. That would be by mail, and I guess we just do it by mail, right?
it's mailing.
Mhm.
So I don't know what the town board's discussion with Nate was on that, but that's all we received. So currently the planning board and the BZA are 500 for everything.
Should go, yeah.
We can check the thing, but I'm pretty sure that you all okayed this only, I'm not sure you okayed this.
It's probably in the town law 267. For that, I don't think.
This, the distance thing came up with Bob Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he did both, he did this one too.
Did we talk about this with the town board? I think what we did.
We have talked about it, but not knowing exactly what it is.
When we had the joint meeting, that's when we talked about that.
So let's put it on the next agenda. for the town board.
We have to come up with a number though.
Yeah, we did.
And the town board may want to consider doing the same thing for the planning board as well.
Is it all 500 at this time? Raise them both up to 1,500
Well,
or
we
something
said
like that.
15 because it probably isn't a big difference in cost. You know, around here, I don't know.
His lots are big.
Yeah.
Well, depends on,
Yeah, you might get like.
if it depends on if you're down in Maplewood.
Yeah, right, it depends where you are, of course. But I think it matters. 1,500 doesn't seem that much. I don't know. We can do it. How many would it be down in Maplewood? That's a good one, that's what it says.
So, maybe
About Jackson. 7 or 8. It just didn't seem like, say, splitting hairs between 1,000 and 1,500.
now, to Bob's point, where he, he had a neighbor,
Yeah, it's just barely over 300.
right. So that he didn't know about, he wouldn't have known about it except for the T&M and BCA. However, a sign would probably have notified him.
Yeah.
Because he could probably see the sign from his house too.
When you're driving by and then you.
Yeah,
you're obviously
so-
driving more than 300
The
feet.
signs are too small.
The
Yeah,
signs
you
are
see
too
that?
small.
You ever try to read them?
No, you can't read them, but you
Can't
see
read
that something's going on, you stop.
You have no idea what's going on. Unless you're on the sidewalk in downtown Ithaca.
I don't know, I stopped to read them.
Do you see the one at the Dollar General now?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, no, we know what it is because we know what we're up to, but
Right.
nobody knows what it is.
Well, hey, let's make it bigger.
Yeah, you would make it bigger,
So
you know, and notify 1,500 feet. By the letter,
1,500.
yeah,
Legal reason.
I mean, this isn't, you know, you're not talking 50-foot lots here.
Well, 1,500 feet and how far apart is each side?
Well, but pretty far apart, up, up in the country.
The sign just is one sign at the lot that's
Yeah.
getting affected.
1,500 feet. 1,500 feet in what direction?
Certain
Radius.
radius.
That's for the notification of the neighbors.
Right, but where does the sign, so,
The sign goes at the lot that's,
so there's one sign
One sign only, and the
Mail it.
notification is by mail.
to anybody within 1,500 feet of.
Yeah.
I do the perimeter, I do the mailers, and I just do the boundary line.
Okay,
Yeah, to the room.
right, so we should have in here that just the school, it's gonna be 1,500.
Yeah, for notification.
Just tell us that's what you want.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. And I still think that's minimal. I think you're not gonna pick up many houses by doing that, but it's something. Okay, 2024 schedule, what? Go, 15 seconds, speed chest, clock.
to set the schedule for 2024, are we sticking with the third Wednesday of every month, starting
Wednesday,
at 7?
well, Wednesday.
Yeah.
The reason Wednesday is, there's a lot of reasons, Tuesday meetings for those guys and lots of other things. This place has got court and some other nights, anyway, Wednesday seems okay, okay,
Mhm.
Wednesday. And then every other. How about every 10,
No, yeah, every month.
every month?
Yeah.
And the same number of days, I'm not seeing any reason to.
Okay.
Third Wednesday,
And we can always, we
Third
can always
Wednesday.
have an
Yeah.
extra meeting, on another Wednesday.
like we did.
You could call a special meeting at any time.
Special meeting, right? Okay, so, yes, same
Okay.
schedule,
Do you want to do a
thanks for.
motion?
Motion that we have the schedule proposed in the agenda.
Yeah, the same schedule, yeah, it's, I don't know if it is. The same schedule we have now.
Well, I would say a
2024.
motion that we accept the schedule that is proposed in our agenda for 2024.
Where is it proposed?
It's in one of the links.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That it continues the same?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, great, second, anybody want to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to vote on that? All in favor?
I,
Okay, so same schedule. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're down to trainings, right? Am I missing anything?
If you want to, if the board wants to make a recommendation to the town board for chair and for
Oh, good, yeah, let's do that first,
Andy.
before we do the trainings.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a couple people, 2 people are up, 3 people are up. Me for chair, am I up for everything, or just chair?
Just chair.
Okay, for chair, and as of a couple days from now, I'm done. And Andy's done, and Tom, you've already heard was done, but he's done, so.
I move that Steve is the chair again.
second,
I'm gonna make this conditional, I wanna open this up. I move that Andy continues on in his role for the next, what is it, how many years?
5.
For another, and we're gonna put this forward.
these are 5-year appointments,
You can always pull out.
yeah, I can't guarantee I'll be able to complete the whole 5 years, I hope.
Okay, but I'd like to, for us to recommend, we're gonna recommend to the board, continuation of Andy, whatever.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
I was assuming we would get that.
Okay, so I just wanna put that in first
Okay.
before I say
Yeah.
yea or nay.
Okay,
Okay, we got, we had a motion on, making continuation of Andy, what's the best way to say this?
Reappointment.
Yeah, we, thank you. And did we have a second? Second. You did? Okay, second, all in favor? Aye.
Just PS to that, we need another alternate, I guess.
We do.
We definitely need them.
We're good at PS that in a second. Okay, so then we had another motion that's open, meanwhile, you
Um,
moved what?
To move that Steve Morelli is the chair for 2024.
second,
It's a reappointment, so it's not just.
Reappointed as chair.
How long?
1 year. It's every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
The term of each board member is 5 years, but the chairs every year.
So Cheryl, you have an opportunity to toss a black ball.
What?
You can take over now. This is your chance.
You're kidding.
He's laughing. Okay, discussion on that? No, did we second that? Did anybody second that?
Are you willing to do it?
I was up in the air, I'll tell you, but yeah, sure, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Good, thank you.
Thanks.
I vote yes.
I,
Okay,
That's right.
that's
Bob doesn't.
I'm recusing myself.
Bob is the vice chair.
Correct. And he's gotta be up for a vote too?
You guys can do that in January.
I'll do that, but gotta ask him to.
Yeah.
Okay, and we need how do we do that? You guys solicit somebody?
Yeah, we're gonna, and if you know anybody you think is good, give Niels the name and we'll interview them. We'll reach out from the town board, our contacts and see if we can find some.
I've been doing my trainings, more trainings, no, just I really was looking up good things that we could maybe use for trainings for BZA specifically, it's relevant. And anyway, one of them was the statement that jumped out at me relevant to this was you can be a village member and be on the town board, on one of the town boards. You can't be a town member outside of the village and be in the village board, which it works. So, yes, we can take anybody, and even people in the village,
Well, we have,
And you actually do.
Mary Bouchard is a village resident.
That's right. just saying, and it's
Right,
verified. Not that I didn't trust you, but I verified.
So you're saying that.
A village resident is also a resident of town, so they could be, they could serve. That makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's always been the rule, I
And
think.
you can't do it yet, and it was just one of the New York State rules in New York State.
I don't
oh,
think
no,
the link
right,
is
that
here.
link, yeah.
You said-
Which one?
If you sent something to us,
Oh,
to send the
I-
link.
Training link wasn't included.
Not the first time.
Yeah.
People ask.
Just so you know, yeah.
Okay, it was just an example if we wanted to talk about it, but I'll send it to you. So I came up with some trainings, or that, and I'd like you guys to suggest some, and then you had some of those suggestions.
Yeah, if I can.
Yep.
So, in the, planning and zoning issue of, talking to towns and topics. This is from September, October 2023. There actually finally was an article that, pertained to us under planning and zoning boards, and it's about safety and, professionalism, how to defuse potentially, arguments to, yeah, and off topic language, things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then also some interesting stuff about field safety and site visits.
Oh.
So the more site visits we make, we might consider some of these things. So I encouraged everyone to take a look and read it, and I think if we all read this and have a discussion about it at some point, should count as an hour of training, I believe.
Well, and so you recommend that though?
Yes.
I want
Yeah.
to first get it, do we recommend this stuff and not just doing it for trainings?
Oh, yeah,
think
yeah, I
some of
had-
The link is, they consider New York State says this is 2 hours and 4 hours, but it's about BZA and all the, I think it's more of the first level BZA stuff. It's not. It's serious and thorough, but it's not the, like getting into the weeds of some of the things we get into. But they do cover a lot of things, including like rehearings and stuff like that. So anyway, I recommend it. I'll get that.
I'm on the favor of cones.
About what? About
So parking along the road for site visits.
Cones,
Cones.
yeah, yeah.
Warning.
okay, good. So you recommend that?
Yes.
Because we all have that in the mailbox.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody's getting talking towns and topics, do all BZA members get this, or do they have to subscribe? Or
No, it's in the mailboxes.
every one of us?
Is it
Yeah,
mine?
I don't think I subscribe and I.
Yeah,
Sure, I can't say, but I didn't ask.
I didn't ask, I didn't.
Here it is.
Yep, you got it. Yeah, good. So we all have it. Excellent. Thanks. Thanks, Andy. That's,
And-
and then any others that?
No, but I think we discussed asking the supervisor to recommend to the Association of Towns, the AOT, to include more information like that, specific information for BZAs. It's rare. I go through every one of them and sit through them, and I was happy to finally find something that was actually really pertinent to what I do. And it had some interesting things that I hadn't considered.
So what was this one? Yeah, there are, but there's that, what was that one from 2023? Did you guys hand that out? I just can't remember. Did you? This, Vision of Local Government Services, Local Government Training Schedule. Oh, you seen that?
No,
It was 2023. Did you hand that out? Did you?
I
sent it to you.
Did you?
That's the one I sent to you.
You did.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
so
That's,
it's local
yeah.
government training schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I think, who I locked into Division of Local Government Services. This is probably the one, because that's the link that I sent you.
Okay.
It's New York State Division, so it's permanent. And there's local government
For a number
services.
of years,
So that fits with those.
I don't like videos, but I had, Marissa find for me, a little, professional, seminar.
Yeah.
It's all day. I think the last one, I attended the stadium.
Whoever was the
And it
first.
was really
I think it
great.
was Thompson.
And they dealt with all the
Yeah, just
the
say,
things that
um,
BZA's.
sure.
Oh, see, I would love that. I'd not to go to Batavia necessarily, and those are rough, because you gotta go to, you gotta be there.
Right.
And I don't like the videos either, but I like them because I can do them when I have a couple hours. And I can listen.
But I fall asleep.
Gotta get their signature.
Well, that's a different thing.
Tom.
Because he was on.
So
I mean, we do enough of those at work, you know, so.
I mean, the video on ethics. For 30 minutes long, I was,
Well, that was the video's fault. That wasn't,
That
the
was-
training was fair.
out.
That was
for 10 minutes, right in the middle.
not appropriate for us, not me. Okay, so, but while the two board members are here though, I'm not sure who's verifying. I don't feel like this is personal enough, when we have to go to Blixie and she warns us, whomever, somebody else that we don't know warns us that we're not in compliance. I think that's not personal enough. I think it's a little bit, and I don't mean that, you know, you gotta be, be mollycoddled, but, that's insulting and because of its impersonalness and it's a little bit officious. And I have been asked to ask you if we can go back to the way it was, which is, some other decision-making body. If people do this 2-hour training and another one and another one, who's the decider on this?
Just get rid of.
Decider of whether you're in compliance?
Yes, whether you did your 4 hours, whatever.
And
Ultimately, the town
up
board.
to, and on this.
So who do we ask? I mean, we put it up to you each time, each member puts it to you.
I think you
What-
just,
what's
we
the
trust,
requirement?
that you self-report,
Okay,
and at the end of the year, you're gonna report, you know, you would have fulfilled the 4 hours.
okay, so we don't have to get those notices of that we didn't do whatever the.
I mean, you may want to be reminded
Just
that
get rid of
there's
it.
2 hours left. It's December
What's
20.
what's the
Well,
requirement?
So 4 hours a year. Okay, I want to say that, but also they're cumulative, based on New York State's laws. They can pile up, so if you did 10 hours last year, they count for your 4 this year too.
Yeah, just.
Well, the problem is nobody's keeping track of them. And so what Belixie's talking about is this new thing that we passed that I'm
Right.
gonna tell you I regret now that we passed. Because they're only talking about the sexual harassment and these new ones.
Yeah,
She's not policing whether or not you did what I think you need. Well, you
Right.
guys have got a lot of experience, you don't really need it, but the state required training of what it takes to be on a BZA.
oh, yeah.
That to me is way more important.
Oh, us too.
Then there's other stuff.
Right, so we all agree, we're all agreeing on that.
Yeah.
And we're all wanting.
Because in your professions, you're trained on the other stuff anyway.
Right.
You know,
Well,
as are we.
You know what we get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they've done 10, if we're gonna accumulate hours, I've done. 10
Yeah,
of
so
those.
Belixie's not policing the one that's a state law. She's policing the one that says you don't have, you know, sexual harassment.
For the town's protection.
Right.
So she's kind of the guardian of the town's protection.
Yeah, but I don't, you know.
She
the-
doesn't
That's an odd thing, because that's for employees too, so we're not employees, we're volunteers.
Which is an interesting point, because one of the forms that I was required to sign and turn into Blixie said signature of employee.
Yeah.
I crossed it out and
I
wrote
mean,
volunteer
That's all,
underneath
it's kind of
there.
nebulous.
I don't
I agree.
And Nate stood here, you were here, and he said, well, no, it's not up to me, that's up to you guys, so I don't.
We're not
agree with it.
employees. We're not, you're not employees, I'm where we are.
Well,
But you're
yeah,
not. You don't get you don't get a W-2.
agreed, but he said that this thing is not necessarily a legality you have to follow. But that was up to you guys, that we have to take these trainings too. We have to take 4 hours of training to be on
Right.
this board.
Right.
And if I look at all the state regulations and all the local localities around here and far flung all over New York State. And these guys here, the local government, Division of Local Government Services and all. They're all very clear. They're not, you have to take sexual harassment because the town will be sued if you don't.
Right.
They're all saying what we're saying here. You need to take some trainings. And the training's gotta be relevant. So. What, you want me to then go back to what we were doing, which is,
I thought we figured this out.
well, I
No,
don't wanna.
I thought we kicked the can down the road. It was supposed to be till the end of the year. And we didn't.
But then we
discuss
I
said-
don't feel like we did. I feel
we
like you
said we-
guys said, we'll give you an extra extension, was the
Right.
final thing.
Well, that's true. But we also said we would accept certification of sexual harassment training from other employers if you have your certificate.
Which I think Bob did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bob, yeah.
So you can
Bob,
do
let's
that,
do
and then that's covered. The sexual harassment would be covered because you take it to Cornell.
Well, sure, I know, believe me.
Right, so that's a given. It wasn't before, we could require, we would do hours as well, which we,
So. It used to, so who do we give it to? Carissa?
I think.
To you? We're gonna load you up with this?
No, give it to Carissa.
Dear Rich, I took my training today.
Give it to Carissa.
I like that idea.
Oh, no, I have a quick
CC
request,
Michael.
which is, if you could prevail upon your attorney to, do a presentation for both the BZA and the.
See, that was the other thing we came up with, so I wanted to ask you that. I'm glad you reminded me. The suggestion was maybe we could have
Yeah,
the lawyer do it, so I'd love to schedule that, that would be
well,
great.
let's do that.
Because he could do an ethics at the same
Yeah,
time,
yeah, so let's do that.
because that's usually short.
I mean, I think it's fine. I really loved it when we did it a couple of years ago with the lawyer, and that was great, but I'd like some stuff pointed at the BZA would be great.
Yeah, and of course, the case law that, we need to be aware of, especially recent case law, would be, much appreciated.
Sure, or anything he wants to put together is I mean, anything.
Now, if whoever, we're gonna set the date for the big meeting, the town meeting that's gonna have this, the training. So whoever can go to that should go to that.
Yeah, where is that? When is
Here.
that? No, I don't mean where.
When is it, when is it?
I thought that was in the springs.
Yeah, in the spring.
Oh, okay,
Well, it's
So
down.
that'll
in
cover
New York City.
ethics and sexual harassment.
yeah, right, which is great. I mean,
Yeah, that's down in New York City.
No, that's here. We do that locally.
They do one for all the town employees.
Oh,
They get the highway and
Yeah.
all the folks.
All right, so make sure we get
Yeah.
notification for
Yeah.
that. All the boards will appreciate that as
Yeah.
opposed to.
I also just wanted to say again that I was sitting next to the Director of Research for the Association of Towns. And Chris Anderson, and he said he'd be more than willing, they've got plenty of lawyers, and they'd be willing to send somebody here to do a training, but we would have to coordinate with, he wouldn't want to do it just for our BZA.
Oh,
So in other words, if we had some surrounding BZAs, other towns
Right.
who would be in on the training.
as a service? I mean.
Yeah, as a
not-
service, a member, I believe as a service member, because we're
Because you're
members of the
member, yeah.
Association of Towns.
Well, that's cool.
And Cheryl and I went to a training, and Chris was there down in Horseheads
Yeah.
or something.
Big flag, yeah.
Big Flats, a few years ago, it was a while back. But yeah, and it was, yeah, it was pre-pandemic. It was great training, and again, I believe it was free for
That'd be great.
AOT members, and for us, we
I think they paid something for us to go there,
could be,
yeah.
I don't
That
know.
was my
But it sounded to me like, this is a service that they could provide for us, and, but it would be
You
up
need a couple
to,
of other towns.
yeah, be up to the town of Ulysses.
How do you instigate that? Or-
How do you?
I think the town supervisor contacts the surrounding town supervisors and asks if they're interested in
Right.
having their BZA's attend, and then have a venue, a place to do it. That's more or less convenient for everyone, and
Yeah, I mean, when I did this thing in Batavia, I think I did it a couple of times, the Association of Towns, I think the town of Ulysses, it was a reduced fee, but the
Yeah.
town of Ulysses, paid, for me.
Yeah,
So,
well, we can have our alternate, Nate can do it too.
Yeah.
We have to go now.
No, I like that. I like that. So we should request it or figure out a date or how does it? I guess he's gonna have to be available.
Yeah, he's gotta be available. I mean, you could do it an hour before, when are you gonna tag it onto the meeting?
Sure. Or,
Come an hour early.
You wanna have Neil's ask, because you talked to him like.
And
face to face.
get some dates from,
And Nate's already mentioned that he'd be interested in doing that, so.
come at 6 o'clock instead of 7. Get it.
or maybe we don't have a meeting
Yeah,
same time.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good idea.
all right.
if you, make it 2 hours.
Yeah, you can make it.
Oh, sure. No, that'd be great. And then I'll give you guys a link to this, link. This.
so, is it time to move to adjourn?
Yeah, we're gonna. Neil said something.
Just for clarification, Blixie told me that all BZA members have completed the town board requirements for like the sexual harassment and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I have been requested to get your 4-hour trainings by January 2nd. So any certifications or anything like that, if you can get me that information or to Carissa or to Molly by January 2nd.
What's the information? What's the format? I did.
Just email.
2 hours of this and 2 hours.
Yeah,
of that.
If you get certification, sometimes the state will.
Was the Blixie, not the Carissa, because you used to go to Carissa.
At the end of the training, there's a button that says, here's, get a certificate. If I've completed this. Okay.
So those ones that we just did don't count for it?
No, they count for the town training, but they don't count for the 4 hours.
No.
They don't?
No,
No.
No double dipping, you said.
So there's 4 hours needed. You should get a certificate if it's done by the state.
Sometimes, Rich, but it's not true necessarily,
well, yeah, that what?
that you get a certificate.
Yeah, but-
I just spent, an hour and a half listening to this thing here. It's like, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Well, then I would just write it down on a piece of
Yeah,
paper,
right.
an hour and a half,
That's what.
December 20th,
I think
7th,
there's some
8th.
things that don't
Absolutely.
violate the
Right,
spirit of
absolutely,
it.
yeah. That's fine.
Good.
For the pandemic, I think, I used to have a lot of hours carried over, I don't think I
Yeah.
have any. If you're saying we have to do it by January 2nd?
That's the request that I got. Either to me or to Carissa
Well, I guess,
or Blixie.
Lacey,
Is she now the guard dog of ours?
She can be.
It sounds like it.
She can be.
Huh, okay.
I don't think she wants to be, but she
Yeah,
can be.
right.
training, you. I'll send it some of these. This one's a good one. The one that I was. Don't sleep though. Walk around. Get your headphones and walk around.
So
I'm not gonna do that.
those 2 things that we just online. Not enough.
If it's for the sexual harassment and ethics,
Yeah.
yeah, that was just the town board required training. There's 4 hours of state.
First time I'm getting that there's 2 different things.
Me too.
No, so
Then you can't double dip.
we've always had to get the 4 hours.
Yeah.
This now we've checked in, other things. But we've always had to get that 4 hours every.
Like,
Yeah,
when
but-
I come here for
but
the
why isn't the other
ethics
thing
training,
right?
that counted as part of 4 hours.
No.
We did it here. In
Why
past
not?
years,
And why not? Why wouldn't it?
I don't know, why wouldn't I always thought.
Why do you think it wouldn't? Andy,
Because Neil's just shaking his head no.
No, but why wouldn't it? Is it, no, I'm asking, why wouldn't it? It's just training.
Well, that's under state requirement for 4 hours specific to BZA. Ethics is, I think, anything that's required for appointed, elected
Sure.
staff. It's not specific to the BZA.
You know, I go to a statewide tree conference every year, and they always advertise this qualifies for BZA trip, 4-hour training, you know, and
Right.
honestly, there's
Yeah, I'm not
a
sure.
lot about trees and very little about board of zoning appeals in there, but it still meets the technically meets the requirement, and,
I will put an asterisk to that, in that the town board or the town law that requires 4 hours of training by the BZA and the planning board says by approval of the town boards in this case. So if the town board is okay with that, then that's up to them.
Are you okay with it?
I think the ethics would double it, but I don't think the sexual harassment or the whatever else we pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know how many I get a year of those? I mean, I get 3 or 4 of those. Conflict of interest, ethics, sexual harassment, Title IX.
Oh, yeah, I got loaded up with them at work as well.
Right.
Yeah, I would just print the certificate and bring it in.
Records.
You know, you get an ethics, I'd bring it
Well,
in.
those are easy because they have a certificate and hey, congratulations, you passed.
Yeah.
Get them all right. All.
Yeah.
70%.
80%, no, 80.
I asked
Gotta get 80.
Marissa a couple of years ago if she could go back, a couple of years, and she couldn't go back except 1 year. So I guess my question is do they have all the information that
No,
Marissa
you
did?
just started, so, oh, I see.
I don't know. I'm not, sure I have what's, is the carryover, is it for more than 1 year
Carryover of what?
of the hours?
Yes,
Is it?
according to what I just heard on this thing, yes. Or actually read it.
So if you do 8 hours training in 1 year, it counts,
Counts into the
2 years.
Yep, you can do that.
Okay, anything else? I'm sure there's a lot more, but, you want to hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Oh,
I second it.
Okay, it's seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Holidays